back to my channel. I've been driving for exactly the duration of listening through the Hamilton soundtrack once, and I'm now in the general area nearby the Peters Valley School of Craft. It's been dumping rain the whole ride over, and I just wanted to pull over because the rainbow over there was absolutely stunning and I just had to take a picture. Anyway, let's get back to my car and I'll tell you what I'm up to. So I'm here in this area to take a class at the Peters Valley School of Craft, which is a place that I've been really wanting to visit for a really long time. And they had a class that I was really excited about, and it's Woodworking 101. That might seem like totally random, like way out of left field. If you know me and you know my work and you know my channel. I know literally nothing about woodworking. That's something I have zero skills in whatsoever. But there's a really specific reason why I wanted to take that class, and that is that literally all of my tools and equipment for weaving and for spinning and even for knitting, everything I use in my life to make my art is made out of wood. I have some friends who have woodworking skills and who also do this kind of fibery textile-y stuff, and they definitely use the woodworking to enhance their fibers and textiles. They can fix any of their equipment that needs a little TLC, they can rehab old equipment and secondhand finds, they can make custom accessories that are exactly perfect to suit their needs, and I'm just so jealous of that. I would love to have some of those skills. I know it's just a weekend class. I'm definitely not going to be a pro woodworker, but it'd be great to just have some idea of what that process is that then I can apply to future explorations. It's a 2-day class. It takes up the whole weekend. I came up early just so I wouldn't have to do that long haul drive early tomorrow. And now I've got to figure out what to do with myself. My friend actually gave me a dinner recommendation nearby that I'm going to go check out because it sounded really beautiful. So let's go have a nice meal. And I have leftovers for dinner tomorrow. I'm gonna head back to the little motel that I'm staying at, so I'll see you there. Hello, it's been a couple hours. It's about 9 p.m. now, and I was getting all ready to go to bed, to wind down. I even put on the Great British Baking Show and pajamas, but I'm feeling restless. I have energy. I think I spent way too long in the car today. I actually have with me my Cricut loom. That's because Monday night is the first night of the Kenilworth weaving group, and it's actually in the direction of my house, so I'm going straight from here to Kenilworth, then to home, so I needed to bring a weaving project with me, of course, but my loom's not threaded at all. I don't actually have a project in progress, so let's thread it. I brought with me a whole bunch of mohair because I really want to do a mohair project. A lot of these are half skeins and bits and pieces from past projects, and I thought it'd be fun to just throw them together into a big project. I know mohair warps are hard. You're not supposed to do 100% mohair warps, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna conquer it. I'm gonna hopefully have a great time with it, or at least the best time I can have. After getting my loom set up, I wove a little bit. I wanted this to be a fun, simple, relaxing freestyle weaving project, so I started weaving some simple stripes with my mohair yarns. And I honestly was having a great time with it. It was actually a really nice little activity to have in my hotel room during this weekend. Before the start of my class, I stopped by a nearby bakery for some breakfast. Then I headed over to the campus, which is located in a stunning national recreation area. I first went to the main office where they gave me a map to find the woodworking classroom. It was quite the drive to get over there, but it was such a beautiful one. I'm supposed to be driving, but I just keep pulling over because everything's so pretty. Eventually, I found the woodworking studio and the weekend adventure began. First, we got a tour of the space and we were shown a demo and a safety lesson on every piece of equipment we'd be using. And then we got to work designing our very own cutting boards. We could make practically anything we wanted, and I came up with this asymmetrical striped design. We then drove back to the main campus for a lunch break where we were served a really lovely meal in the cafeteria. And to get to and from the studio, we carpooled with one of our classmates who had a convertible, which made the drive so much more fun. Then it was time to get to work. I started out by using a miter saw to cut some pieces of cherry and maple for my cutting board. This was my first time using any kind of woodworking machinery, and I'll admit I was really nervous just because everything is so big, loud, fast, and powerful. But I tried my best to take it slowly and to ask for help when I needed it, and the instructors were so wonderful and so supportive of all of us, so over time things definitely started feeling a little bit less scary. The next step was to use a jointer to create perfectly squared edges on all of my cut pieces. Then I passed them through the planer to flatten all of the sides, but I forgot to film that part. The result of all of these efforts were some beautiful, perfectly smooth and flat planks of wood, which was really exciting and really satisfying. The next step was to use a table saw to cut out all of the pieces that would make up my stripe design. I'm not gonna lie to you, this is the piece of equipment that I was the most nervous to use just because it looks so aggressive, but I got it done. Once I had all of my pieces cut out, it was time to glue them together to create my design. By the way, you might have noticed that my thumb has been bandaged up throughout this video. I accidentally cut myself on a tape dispenser at home. This was definitely not a woodworking injury. I just felt the need to say that, so hopefully you wouldn't worry. Anyway, back to the project. This has been such a cool experience. I'm definitely way out of my comfort zone and way out of my element. I'm definitely used to working with things that are like soft, squishy, they can't hurt me. And now we're operating this huge machinery and whew. My cutting board is currently drying and I actually have quite a bit of time today because we not only have a couple hours left in the class, but there's also open studio tonight. I was thinking it might be fun to try to make some shuttles, specifically stick shuttles. I brought a couple and I showed them to my teacher and he was like, let's do it. So let's do it. To make my shuttles, I found some pieces of oak in the wood scrap pile that seemed like they'd be perfect for this project. And then I cut the pieces down to size. In hindsight, I wish I'd made these shuttles just a little bit thinner and narrower, but it's okay. It's my first time doing this and I'll love them no matter what. Okay, I got all of the wood for my shuttles cut out. We're now taking a break for dinner and then we're gonna meet back again for like after hours studio time, which should be pretty fun. So yeah, I'm gonna go get my leftovers from last night's dinner, maybe lay down for a little bit and then come right back. After dinner, I drilled some holes into my shuttles to start forming the notches on either side. And then I used the bandsaw to cut off these notches, which I couldn't easily film. I sanded the edges of each shuttle to make them nice and smooth. And then I filed the insides. Here's my progress so far. They're definitely far from perfect, but I learned so much making them. I also made some longer versions of these shuttles, which I liked a lot more because I could use what I learned from the tiny ones and improve on these skills. Overall, it was a perfect day. And then on the drive home, I stopped at the swamp again to listen to the evening symphony. Hello, it is day 2, the second and last day of my woodworking adventure. Today I'm finishing up my charcuterie cutting board. I'm really excited to see how that turns out, and then I'm also hoping if I have any extra time to just like finish up those little shuttles that I started. Those are definitely not as successful as like the long shuttles I made, but I don't want them to go to waste, so I'm just gonna like keep working on them. It is rainy and muggy today, but it is so beautiful just being in this like super dense, lush, wild forest with this like very soft, drizzly morning weather. It's just surreal. And then like combining that with a craft that's way out of my element, it just makes this whole weekend feel super surreal in like such a wonderful way. Just listen to the sounds. Oh, it's so beautiful. To start the day, I first removed all of the clamps that were holding my board together as it dried. And then I passed it through the planer several times to make each side perfectly flat and smooth. Today's big scary task was to cut out the shape of my cutting board. And this was the task that I was definitely the most nervous about because of course I was afraid to mess up everything that I'd worked so hard on up until this point. So first I measured and I drew up all of my cut lines. And then I took my project over to the bandsaw and I shaped my cutting board. With these two extra pieces, one of which totally works as a small cutting board, and the other one's too small to actually use, but I didn't want to throw it away, so I kept it as kind of like a little decorative object. Then I drilled a big hole to hang my cutting board in the kitchen, which was another stressful cut because it really needed to be perfect. And then I sanded all the edges to smooth them out. Then I used a router to round off all of the edges of my boards. And here's how everything turned out. All of the cut edges were smooth and round, which was so incredibly satisfying. Then we had our beautiful rainy day lunch break. And before heading back, a bunch of us stopped into the craft school shop, which featured tons of artworks in all styles from a huge group of local artists. It was such a joy to see, and I got myself a little frog friend for my rooftop garden from a metalworker. It made me laugh, and it felt like a perfect souvenir of this experience. Back in the wood shop, I sanded down all of my pieces using an orbital sander. And then I gave them all a nice coat of mineral oil, which really brought the projects to life. And here's how everything turned out. I ended up with 2 cutting boards, a little extra piece, and 6 shuttles. I literally cannot believe that I made all this with only 2 days of instruction. Even though these items are far from perfect, I am so thrilled with every single one, and I'm so happy that I went out of my comfort zone to give this experience a try. here's what everyone else made during our class. I love that everyone went in totally different directions with their cutting boards and the extras that we got to make with our studio time. This was such a joyful group of classmates, and I had such a fun time getting to know everyone. Hello again. I just finished up in my class and I genuinely had such a wonderful time. I'm also just like so excited about my cutting board and my shuttles. It's one of those things where I'm looking at them and I literally can't believe that I made that. They are definitely going to get a lot of use and a lot of love, and that makes me happy. Anyway, I'm actually spending another night here just because I am definitely too tired to do the huge drive back home. So I'm going to go find some dinner and then take it easy for the evening, and then tomorrow maybe find something fun to do. Good morning, happy Monday. I had originally planned on spending Sunday night into Monday, not only so I could just like take it easy after this like really long weekend class because the drive back is really intense, but also so I could dedicate Monday as like another little adventure day right before I have to head to the library in the evening. So I was all ready for my little adventure, but the weather is so bad right now. It's like just raining and gray and like everything is really muddy. And a lot of the activities that I was excited about in the area were like walking and hiking and like seeing cool outdoor features, so that kind of puts a damper on the day. The other thing also is that it's Monday and I didn't realize that like literally anything that isn't outdoors seems to be closed today. I honestly don't really know what I'm gonna do with myself, so I think I'm gonna start by finding breakfast somewhere or like a nice little brunch. Then I'm gonna like do some research and see what I can come up with. So yeah, I don't know what today holds, but hopefully we'll make the most of it. I ended up stumbling across Wesselhoff Farms, which had a beautiful little breakfast spot, and I treated myself to a fun meal. This was honestly one of the best French toasts I have ever had. I then found a shop to buy some charcuterie items so that when I got back home, Ryan and I could test out my new board. I'm running to the library. It's raining. My mohair's getting wet. Eventually, I made my way over to the Kenilworth Public Library for our first ever weaving group meeting. And to my surprise, there was also a jazz group performance happening at the same time, which was just so much fun. This library is one of my favorite places to hang out, and I've made so many wonderful yarn-loving friends here through the spinning and crafting groups. And I'm so excited that now we have a designated weaving day every single month. We listened to music, we worked on our weaving projects, we chatted, and we ate snacks, and it was just a perfect evening. If you happen to be in the area and you want to join us, I'll put a link to the library's events in this video's description. On my mohair project, and I actually ended up having so much fun with it. So far, I've had pretty good luck and I haven't experienced too many knots and tangles from the fluffy mohair warp. And I love how this light, airy fabric is turning out. You know, I've been weaving away and then I just realized I should use the shuttles that I just made. Wouldn't that be fun? This shuttle is obviously huge for this tiny little loom. I definitely made this more for my other looms back at home, but it was still such a joy to use my own handmade shuttle for this project. later on, we put my charcuterie / cutting board to the test, and I think it passed. Overall, this was such a beautiful weekend of trying new things, getting out of my comfort zone, exploring a beautiful new place, and connecting with friends. I hope it was fun to tag along and to join me for this adventure. If you liked this video, don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons, and hopefully I'll see you in my next video. Bye!